Welcome. Companies who expose APIs for external developers eventually ask the question, do we need to build official software development kits? It's not always an easy question to answer, as there are many factors at play. In this video, I'll share 6 signals that your API may be ready for SDKs. Let's get into it. Number 1, you find that time to hello world is subpar. Now, we all know that one way to measure developer onboarding success is how long it takes developers to make that first API call. If you only provide API reference docs, then you need to know that developers will spend quite a bit of time digesting that documentation to understand how your authentication works, error handling, as well as translating API endpoints into their code and serializing and deserializing data. This is all time consuming and it slows down that time to first successful API call. Number 2, you find you've got a high support burden. Now, API programs should offer some base level support, but when your team is overwhelmed with questions and support issues turn into phone calls or even pair programming sessions with your engineers, it's time to look for ways to enable developers self-service when using your API. Number 3, you find that developers are asking for code examples. A more direct signal that developers could benefit from SDKs is when you see tickets or forum posts and developers are asking to have a solution in a specific programming language. Developers who post these questions have tried but maybe feel stuck. They've turned to you in the community for help. Ideally, a robust SDK with runnable code samples for each endpoint could help them out. Number 4, your community is building libraries for your API and open sourcing them. If you find developers in your community have written code to integrate with your API because there's no existing SDK, they may also be wanting to help other developers by packaging up that code and publishing it on GitHub. These community-driven libraries are a positive signal that developers like your API enough to share their work with others. Still, it's also a signal that there's a gap in your developer experience that the community is trying to fill. Number 5, you have customers or partners that are actually requesting SDKs. These might be large enterprise customers or strategic partners who are building to your API and see SDKs as table stakes. They understand the long-term maintenance cost of writing custom integration code and prefer to use an officially supported library along with documentation written to support their preferred programming language. Listen for SDK and library requests from these high-value developers. You don't want to lose the relationship because your API program is seen as not mature enough for their use case. And lastly, number 6, you may find that competitors are offering a superior developer experience. The API landscape continues to expand, especially for industries like payments, logistics, communications, and more. Treat your API like a product and build an experience that helps you win with developers. Are competitors' APIs easier to start using? Do they offer SDKs in languages popular with your developer audience? Or are they building sample apps, tutorials, and use case guides based on their SDKs? These could all be signals that you need official SDKs to stay competitive. Thanks for joining me today. And if you have questions about APIs, SDKs, or developer experience that you'd like me to discuss in a future video, leave a comment below or contact me through the link in the description. We'll see you next time.